Oh yeah, yeah. The birds that night or that first morning, where they were like, "What
It sounded like a
crazy?"
rubber chicken.
Yeah, it was like, yeah.
Alarm clock. That was fun.
I forgot.
We can wander our way over, because this is Wandering Ways.
What's Bigfoot possibility?
Clink,
Like,
clack, gutty, clack, clink.
what's up, man?
Fantastic.
Well, good. I'm glad. I'm glad you're doing fantastic.
How are you?
Oh, I am perfect and getting better. Went for a little run today and just a little shakeout run, nothing too crazy, and it was much needed because I felt like absolute dog shit yesterday. So,
That's what you were saying. That's what I know we talked about possibly recording yesterday, and then today we decided to record because you're feeling better. I was feeling too well. I Oh, my microphone changed. Sorry guys, my computer is all talking to me. But no, I wasn't feeling well on Sunday, and we were supposed to have Tucson, but he stood us up, so
we'll may get Toos again, you know. So,
we'll get him. He was busy. He was busy. It makes sense. He's a good guy like that.
so I track my sleep and all the recovery stuff because I geek out on that kind of thing. And so last night's sleep, when I wasn't feeling very well, you could see clearly like when I was feeling like just that I was feeling like crap because I woke up the next day and my phone, the app was like, don't leave your bed today. It was just yeah, it was just like you need to just not do anything today because the
I
way
believe it.
like it was reading. And I remember when I got my second COVID vaccine way back in May, I saw similar kind of data
Oh,
happen, which it was interesting to see. Like my resting heart rate jumped like 10 beats within like a minute span. It was just like, poof. And that's like when the body was just trying to heal itself, the immune system just started kicking and was just trying to get rid of anything because
mm,
it stimulates being sick.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
is
I I rested out. I have a cup that I spit into because that helps with my sore throats if I don't have the mucus build up in the back of my throat. And then I shower like 4 times a day.
I love the heat too. I
Yeah.
will I don't shower 4 times, but I'll do one in the morning, one in the evening, and I
Yeah.
steam that shit out.
No, I do that. Like this, I was feeling real bad. I think according to Thea, Nurse Thea, she thought it was the flu, and just based on my symptoms and what I was doing. But like for me, what it was is like I was getting the chills real bad at some point, so I'd take the warm shower and just steam it out. I love steam rooms and steaming stuff out.
I do too. Steam rooms and saunas. I might even go to the sauna tomorrow.
Yeah,
Yeah, I got a membership at the Y. I'll go put in a bike workout and then just go sit in the sauna for 30.
there you go. That's how to do it. I just get the steam going in my shower usually.
That's not a bad way to do it either. But no, feeling better, getting out, doing things, staying active.
Well,
Hopefully, going to
good.
go out and do some nature kind of things here real soon.
That's always the plan. I mean, it's the winter, so it's hard. We talked about that on winter activities, and we talked about probably talking about some more winter activities, and the fact that we do go inside in the winter, but there is plenty to do outside. There's walking around, skiing. I know Calman, our everyday backpacker, he cross country skis, so stay tuned for his stuff because I know he's been dropping a lot of stuff.
Cross country skiing, cross country skiing is pretty popular around here as well.
Is it?
Yeah,
It makes sense. It's a good active. When my parents lived here in Billings, they lived by a golf course, and a lot of people go on the golf course and
yeah,
cross
that's a
country.
popular place to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's essentially walking out in, so it's just the downhills are probably a little bit more fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Woo!
Right. Well, and
So
the boots are a little more comfortable, I believe. They're not as like, like when you're skiing, you're in some pretty stiff boots. And that's actually how I broke my leg. I was skiing, I was your French fry pizza, right? Pizza to slow down. I was pizza and I wasn't slowing down. And then all of a sudden, the right ski got caught up under the left ski. And I, the boot, because it was stiff, right? I spiral fractured my shin bone and it was no bueno.
yeah, that's a bad day.
Yeah.
That is a
Well,
bad day.
the story, we'll get into this because I got two stories for you guys today. I got a nice little book here called Yellow Shirt, Black Necklace about the Western Meadowlark. But before I get into that story, I'm going to go ahead and tell this one about when I broke my leg because it was a fun day. It was my second time ever skiing. We did the class in the morning that teaches you. And then we were going, and if you're with Red Lodge Mountain here in Montana, it is Red Lodge, Montana, Miami Beach ski run, right? So that it's beginner ski run, right? I'm in the 5th grade. This is my second time ever skiing. We're going down it all day long, having a great time, and we were like, okay, we can maybe fit in one more run. It looks like they're just about down to shut down the the gondola to go up to the top. And me and Josh, we got on, we went down. I went down on the hill. Josh went back down. My dad and Josh were just waiting at the lodge, like waiting for me, like, where the fuck is he? And I was lucky some kid came by and I like was screaming because my leg was broke and he helped me. And then some old man came and helped me. And finally the ski, they came with the sled. They strapped me on the sled. They slid me down the mountain and put me in the room, the doctor room thing that they had, and put my leg in a splint. And yeah, it was a it was a story. Yeah.
Nice. It sounds like a good time. Anytime you get to take the sled down where you're all mummied, and then
Yeah.
they put you in a nice old vacuum splint, probably of some sort.
It was cardboard and like rubber bands. I kid you not, because
Okay, they went real cheap on it.
it was
Some
like
of them are the vacuum splints where they'll like put you in these beanbag kind of things, and then they take the air out.
yeah. It's typically the end of the day. Like what they were doing was they would take you actually down to the hospital there in Red Lodge, but my dad was kind of like, no, he doesn't need that. So I actually didn't end up going to the hospital till the next morning.
Oh,
So I slept with a broken leg. It was the worst sleep of my
shit.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah. I probably broke it some more by sleeping, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's something you need to get taken care of right away.
Because I tried like walking on it too, like, and I was like, I can't.
Nice. Nice. This is a great lesson on things not to do, everybody.
Yeah, I feel like I have quite a few of those.
Don't try walking. If it's a break, probably need to go right away. Should go right away. There are exceptions to the rule, but in general, just go right away.
Hey, I was on board for that plan. I just want to make that clear.
Okay.
No. You know what that means? Time for another commercial break where we get to tell you to like, subscribe, and review our podcast. Whether you're getting that podcast on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, WhatsApp, whatever podcast app you use, you can make it happen.
And don't forget, this is also the time to let you guys know that you can pick up that Wandering Ways swag at the Teespring. Make sure to check it out. The link is in the bio down below or in the episode description. It's even in the show description too, if you can't find it in the episode. But you can go on there. You can get your sweatshirts. You can get your shirts. You can get long sleeves, short sleeves. You can even get some socks. It looks pretty cool. Highly recommend. You will be impressing everybody at your next bonfire with some Wandering Ways swag.
And if that's not enough, we're going to tell you to follow us individually on our social medias. You could check me out at the Rugru or Zach of Wandering Ways.
check out the adventure firsthand where there might not be any ads.
Exactly. And who doesn't like some good free pub? I need the followers to go up. So I'm going to throw out Reverend Marcus. Check me out on the Twitter, on the Instagram. I do some cool stuff. So please give me the follow. All right.
We also do not cool stuff.
Yeah. But anyways, let's keep wandering on.
So the book is written by a long-standing bear chief, who's actually my grandfather's twin brother, and they were developing a bunch of children's stories for the Blackfeet tribe up in Browning. And this one's called Yellow Shirt, Black Necklace. It's got a picture of a beautiful meadowlark and a nice rainbow right behind it on the cover.
Ooh. Ah.
There was a time when the earth was pure and clean, and all living things spoke the same language. The people, the birds, the things that crawl, and the things that swim, and the things that fly, and those that live in the earth could talk to one another. There was peace and harmony because there was respect for everything and everyone. Then evil spirits came among the living beings on earth. The things we speak about as being evil can be said to be those that are against life. They are bad people and things that do not want to see life lived in peace and harmony. Long ago, all living beings gave honor and respect to each other. In that long ago times, there was one tribe of people who were messengers. They were the bird people we now call the meadowlark. They were people who enjoyed visiting and keeping everyone informed about the good things in life. Whatever good was taking place in the camps, the joyful meadowlark sang about it, so all the beings of the world would know about it. There's a picture of all the beings listening to the meadowlark in Beautiful Mountain. Mark's watching, just so you guys know. The song of the meadowlark is enjoyed by everyone. Every summer day, when the sun is coming up, you can hear the pretty song of our meadowlark relatives. It is at this time of day you will hear all living things talking and singing to the Creator. This is when the meadowlark helps pass the good word of what is going to happen during the coming day. This is the way the meadowlark has always been. He follows the good road of summer season, singing about the good things of life. All the relatives of meadowlark who lived on earth respected and loved him for the good he brought to their lives. They prayed for him and asked the Creator to bless meadowlark in some way. Because of this, the maker of life came to learn about the good things meadowlark was doing for all his relatives. The result of these prayers, asking for an honor to be given to meadowlark, is the gift of the great holy being gave for us to all see. The gift is the yellow shirt and black necklace that he proudly shows while he sings a summer song. This beautiful gift matches the pretty song we hear every summer day when all of the creation sings and talks to the Creator in their own way. This story is to remind us that kindness is remembered for a long, long time. The gift of kindness is always rewarded. And that's how the meadowlark got to be the yellow shirt with the black necklace.
We want to thank everyone for joining us for another Short Stories with Zach.
I got a few. I think they're fun because what I liked about that one in particular is the meadowlark. It's a state bird to a lot of states.
A lot of states.
Oregon, Montana, Kansas.
No, Oregon, it's not anymore.
It used to be because it was,
but it's not anymore.
What is it now?
It's the osprey.
Oh, that's cool.
They changed it to the osprey.
That's a cool one.
Change it to. They voted on it. That's what they decided to vote on in our state government.
Nice. But I love the sound of them when you're hunting, it's that like tweedle, tweedle, tweet. It sounds like they're singing to one another. You can tell when a meadowlark is present. And out here in Montana, we get them a lot. And I like them.
Well, that was the big thing here in Oregon is like no one ever sees a meadowlark anymore. So
because they're in Eastern Oregon, mainly. Yeah.
So they're like, you know what? Let's change it to the osprey.
But we never see them because we're not killing them off or anything. No. Right?
So let's vote it away. No, I like it. It's a good. Plus, what I really like is the teachings. When you look at these native stories, these because he took what they would do is they would take a lot of these historical stories and how can we relate them to modern times with the kids? Talk to them about well, the animals used to live in harmony with one another. Especially in native culture. That's just what we know. That's how we're brought up. And to hear that, and then to talk about the kindness, to be kind to one another, to the animals respect one another. We should respect one another. That's the Reverend's teachings.
It is essentially, ELE. Everybody love everybody.
Exactly.
It's all the same message told in different ways.
Right. And we have some exciting stuff for you guys today. We're doing another breakdown.
Whoop, whoop. Another Wandering Ways breakdown coming your way.
I'm excited because this is one I'm surprised we haven't done a breakdown of it yet.
Well, we have kind of
ish.
We've grouped this one in with other things, and now we're deciding to kind of just do only the Badlands in this breakdown.
And I think the reasoning for it is because it is one of the national parks. There are some people out there that are very particular about national parks, national monuments. We're not really so, but what we want to do is provide this because we know some people just want the national park only. They're not going to do the other stuff that the Black Hills have to offer.
And this one is kind of away from the Black Hills. It is in the flats of the national grasslands. And so, we kind of threw it in with the Badlands because it was something you can do, but really it can be its own separate entity. And that's kind of what we're doing today.
And I like that because I think it is a smaller national park. I want that to be known as we get into it. So you can dedicate like half a day, heck, a drive through the park. The way it literally is a scenic drive. Like you can get off one exit of I-90 and get right back on I-90 and you haven't lost any distance on I-90. So that is possible if people are doing that. They're in a hurry. You can. No trucking through the park though.
Yeah, no trucking. There's no trucking through any parks though.
I know.
So
there used to be.
For all of our trucker fans out there listening, I'm sorry.
Our long haulers.
Yeah, the long haulers out there. We're sorry. But no. Today we're doing the breakdown of good old Badlands National Park, which is in South Dakota.
Yeah. And Matt, buddy, man, this is right up his alley. Especially because half of the park is located on the Pine Ridge Reservation.
Yes.
And not a lot of people go down there because it's on the reservation.
Yeah, and as we'll get in later, a lot of that down there too is backcountry.
And it's not like what's weird about the Badlands is because I've been down there. I wanted to go down there and check it out. It's like it's not a lot because it isn't developed because the tribe I believe takes a lot of control and tries to run it themselves. And the Oglala Nation, the Pine Ridge Nation, is very poor and they're focusing on their people first versus like a national park. So I think that's why there's not really a nice giant visitor center down there. Maybe one day.
Yeah, maybe.
With your help.
You never know. But yes, this is in the grasslands of South Dakota. They are called the Badlands, even though that is an improper name. I think they're pretty good lands.
It makes sense though, because living out here in Eastern Montana and like my grandma, where she's from in North Dakota, like Teddy Roosevelt National Park is essentially, they call it Badlands up there. Like it didn't get its name Teddy Roosevelt National Park for a while. And so I'm like, no, it's Teddy Roosevelt Park. It's not the Badlands. And we always get in this argument. And what's cool is we have them here in Montana, and it's just like there's no other word for it because it's like You can't farm it. You can't really live on it. You can't do anything with it. It's bad land.
Yeah. I mean, that is why they call it Badlands. You know, it just looks pretty. It's cool. So I'm trying to give it a little bit of love when no one else wants to give it some love. So, but no, if you don't know what it is, it's like this weird rock kind of land that just kind of pops out of nowhere. You know, the way the grasslands work, it's literally just grass forever and ever and ever. And then all of a sudden, there's some weird shaped rock formation soil that pops up.
Yeah. And then just back to grass.
Yeah. Or little bits of grass picked in there.
It's the cliffs. It's these like cliffs that are created by the land. It must be going up and down or eroding or however. I'm not the geologist. I know Park Ranger Sunny Hope is, and she would probably be able to tell us. But send her an email, guys. Check out that episode.
But it does not mean there still isn't some cool stuff to do in this park. If we're going to start with the things you can do in the park, and then we'll tell you about, you know, other camping, backcountry camping, that kind of stuff later in the episodes. But I want to start off talking about probably the best thing to do in this park. We did it when we were there, and that is stargazing.
Oh God, I'm glad you're talking about this first because I wanted to bring it up.
Yeah. This is a park. This is why I would recommend staying in the park when we talk about camping later. But the stargazing is phenomenal.
Well, there's no light pollution.
That's why it's phenomenal. You know, you're out there. It's just the Badlands, so there's no major population that's like producing light. It's just the campsites and whatever they're producing. So you can see a lot of stars, which is just absolutely. And then the other thing is, because there's no trees and these rock formations of the Badlands aren't that big, you know, you can see so much of the sky. You know, we talked about big sky of Montana where it's just big. Like, I mean, this isn't Montana, but it's still very big sky. You know,
well, it's still high desert.
Yeah, there's just, you see it all. So, you know, shoot, what was it? I think that's when I whipped out the stargazing book and we were like pointing out stuff that night.
Well, I think because I have an app on my phone, and that was one of the only campsites that we actually had like cell service at. So I was able to pull it up, and you had your book with your red light on. And
yeah.
I think you slept because there's no trees for our hammock campers like Mark. Mark, there was like this like little pavilion thing for like where we could eat, like where our table was.
Yeah, and they had like a roof on it in case it rained. You know,
and Mark set it up right on the two poles that hold the roof up, and he was able to stargaze his way to sleep.
Exactly. That's the best part about sleeping in a hammock, is you get all the stars as you sleep.
Right.
But no, stargazing. I honestly think this is kind of like the biggest thing to do in this park.
Mm-hmm.
It's the first thing I would recommend to anybody going to this park. I'd be like, check out some stars.
And what I like is it's not that, it is a popular park. So like people go there, but they don't stay there because of its size typically. So if you really have the time to make a campsite there, maybe spend two nights there, I think you can get into it because you can do the backcountry camping. You can focus on stargazing. You can really touch every aspect of this park.
You can. And a good thing to tag team with your stargazing when you go to the park is another thing that I highly recommend when going to this park is checking out a sunset or a sunrise.
Both beautiful. You do get different colors in both, right? You
Yes.
get more of the purples and pinks in the sunrise. And I've seen some beautiful, beautiful, beautiful sunrise pictures of this park because of that, the way the colors. And I'm looking actually at the different bands, because when you look at the Badlands, the best way to like explain it is it's like you're on this edge of grassland that falls, and you just see the different bands of earth, and they're the different geological like time periods essentially. You got the ones that are more white, more red, more yellow, more gray, whatever that may be. And then I think with that, the color of the sunrise as well as the sunset, we got some really pretty sunset pictures. But just the shadows they create and the way the colors play and interact with one another in that daylight.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when we did the sunset, that was pretty legit. We kind of just hiked up to a point real quick, and we ended up just watching the sunset. We ended up having people join us for the sunset too. We had the traveling nurse, and then we had like the one couple that came and joined us for it too.
It was really nice. And what's really cool about that park is it's easy to get to those places. Like we were in a spot where we could have been there by ourselves, but the people that happened to stumble upon us were just really friendly people and wanted to talk to people, I feel like. Whereas if they weren't those type of people, they would have just walked by and let us sit there, take our photos. There was a couple or two that did that. But what I also remember and I really liked was the rams and the sheep, because we were standing up on top of this cliff, and the way they're out in this field, and the way they worked their way in kind of towards the cliff area as the night progressed.
Yeah, 100%. It's nice. Anytime you go wildlife viewing, it's always nice to go early or late, because that's when animals are most active, right? So, this park allows you to do that and see some cool stuff. Even if you don't see animals, you're going to see a great sunset or a great sunrise. Then if you just add in, a random buffalo that comes through, or a herd of sheep that walks by, or, whatever.
Rattlesnake.
Yeah, that's when we ran into the one like later that day, and we're all sketched out hiking because we're like, we saw one, there's going to be more.
Right. Well, what I like is I've been blessed to go to this park a few times with a few different people. My dad, Thea, and you. And when I went with my dad, we were able to see the rams. I actually saw a really big one. And just like what I like about the trips that each one of us were doing is they were different, right? So you and I were on a long road trip, and this was one of the stops. Me and my dad were on a business trip, and he's like, oh, we can do the loop and get back to Rapid City. Our meeting was done by noon. We were on the road. We did it in like half a day. Just drove through the park, and he got to see it and really like it, because that for him, that's what he likes in the parks, is driving around and seeing them. Similar to Matt's parents in that sense. When we talk about it on the cluster with Matt. And then with Thea, we were also kind of on a road trip, but we stayed at a hotel, and we were kind of taking our time at some of these parks, and we worked our way back into the Black Hills to do some other stuff. And it's just, what I like about it is it's in South Dakota, so you think it's kind of out of the way, but it's kind of not. It's kind of its own destination.
Yeah, I do see that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's close by to the place that gives you the water, right?
Waldrug.
Yeah, Waldrug. I kept wanting to call it Walport, but that's a city in Oregon.
Yeah, it's really close to Waldrug, and that's a tourist town. A fun one. They say, and then from like Deadwood, Rapid City, you're 88 miles out. From Deadwood, Custer, all those, Mount Rushmore area, you're about 120 miles away. You're also really close to the Minuteman Missile, which is a national historical site. I think it's like one of our nukes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So if you want to check the 8 miles away,
that's good to know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it is kind of its own thing, because it is close but far. 88 miles to Grand Rapids, which is probably the bigger of those cities close by.
Yeah.
Um,
Not Rapid City.
Rapid City, sorry. 88 miles. It's not
Hour.
horribly far. Hour and a half if you're driving slow, right?
80 mile is the speed limit out there because there's nothing.
Yeah, that's true. But
hour and a half.
But so it is. It's a day trip if you're in one of those places where you go. You don't have to necessarily stay in the park, even though we talked about reasons you should stay in the park for the stargazing and the sunrises and sunsets. But you can stay in bigger establishments if you
hotels.
want to. Yeah, hotels. Even Waldrug has some bigger kind of hotels, and it's a little closer. And Waldrug gives you water.
For free.
For free. They give you water for free. But other things to do in the park, we mentioned it a little bit. It's the wildlife sightings. It's nice because you can see forever. So if you get yourself a nice pair of binoculars, you can, as they say, glass a lot of area. So,
well, and what I like is every time I've gone, and take note, every time I've gone has been in the summer season. So May to September is when I've gone. I've always seen a bighorn sheep from the road. They do like to stay close to the road. You and I had a really cool encounter with a herd. Me and my dad had a cool encounter. Depends on the, you'll typically see the females with the females, the males with the males. But the bison, that's another one. You don't see them I haven't seen them every time. Because there's a lot of grassland, and I think they prefer the grassland. And what's interesting is the land seems flat, but even though it's not necessarily flat, there's a lot of ravines and coulees, and that's where like these herds will go. Middle of the day, if I'm at the park in the middle of the day, they might be laying down because it gets hot out there.
Yeah.
So pack your sunscreen and water.
I remember there was one stop, and you can see a bunch of it. And I remember when we were there, looking off in the distance, like the one single buffalo that was like kind of just making its way. It was kind of cool because you imagine, for some odd reason, it's kind of what I imagine the African savanna would be like. Because it's more wide open. There's more trees in the African savanna.
But different trees where their leaves are almost higher.
Yeah, it's different climate. So, but it is kind of what I would imagine like the African savanna would be. I also imagine the African savanna, there's a lot more wildlife. But that's different in itself. But it was a cool sensation to see off in the distance that one buffalo kind of making its way across these uneven grassy patch to non-grassy patch of land.
I think I have a really cool picture of him, and I have
I think you do too.
Actually I painted over it one of my famous smoking men, and he's looked like it's a black and white photo, and he's looking out at it kind of, and you can see the smoke going on. It's really cool. One of my favorites. It's in my garage. But they have porcupines, coyotes, bighorn sheep, bobcats, rattlesnake, the black-tailed prairie dog, and I know you like a good prairie dog.
I love them.
The American bison, magpie, the black-footed ferret, which typically you'll see at night, and the swift fox, which actually I believe is endangered.
Oh,
yeah.
You gotta watch out for rattlesnakes.
Yeah, you really do, because we said we talk about it in the Black Hills breakdown, but
we talked about it a couple times, this rattlesnake, because the story is hilarious.
But you should keep what I like about that is we were far away and he's alerting us.
Yeah.
I've had stories too, like our good friend who's a photographer was out photographing in Kansas, and he took one step into the long grass and basically stepped on a rattlesnake, and then he jumped up and ran away, and the thing didn't get him in time.
Fuck.
He's like, oh my God, I'm scared. Like, he's like, oh, because what they were focusing on was they're trying to get those thunderstorms photos.
Yeah.
And the heat, right? And the snakes like the heat, and yeah. But make sure you stay 100 100 yards away from all, or 100 feet away from all animals in this park.
Yes.
It's on the thing they give you at the door.
Yep. You should, most of these critters in all of these parks, you should try and be a lot smarter. There's some great videos out there of tourists being questionable. We've even done a whole podcast episode on questionable tourists.
We might do another one. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, we might. They're fun to do.
They are. And one of my favorites, 0 dogs allowed on hiking. Oh, that girl had a dog on the hiking
Yes,
trail.
she did. She was doing a no-no.
Yeah, no pets, guys.
Yeah.
It's for their safety and the wildlife safety in these parks.
Yes.
Go to your dog park if you want to have a dog in the park.
Yes. Other things to do in this park, we mentioned it before because of how it is located. It is a scenic drive. You know, we mentioned that you can do it loop and you don't really lose a whole lot of time. It is very pretty to just drive through the park. That alone makes it quite worth it. You know, if you're not into driving it, you can bike it. It would be a very cool park to bike. Actually,
They do say you can bike the road. The road has narrow shoulders, and you're not allowed to take the bikes off the road.
Yeah.
In the magazine.
The one thing, like along with the biking, that I think would be really, I think you could get some really cool shots of doing, but I think you could take a longboard on these roads and would be really cool to see like a good longboard video through this park.
With a drone, and there's no drones in the park, but yes, it really would be.
Yeah. The first thing that comes to my head when I think of longboarding this park is the longboarding scene in The Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of thing that clicks in my head when I think of it. So it would be really, really, really cool. It'd be some cool.
They
shit.
have, you know, I'm actually looking at the things to see and do in this park right here, right? And you're an expert. I just want the wanderers to know, because they're saying drive the highway loop. They say it takes about 60 minutes. So that about an hour off I-90. You know, go see the Prairie Dog Town, hike a trail, attend a night sky program by a ranger. So they do offer programming, which is cool. They offer ranger programs. They have a pretty good visitor center, I would say. I like it. And then take in a sunrise or a sunset. And then go down to the South Unit too, on the travel land.
There you go. No, there's a lot of cool shit to do in this park. So
It really is.
yeah. And
go for it.
Oh, I was gonna say, and speaking of cool shit,
I knew you were.
It's time for some cool shit in nature.
Because you're stinking it up over there. No, I'm just kidding. That was a pun. Cool shit. I hope you got it.
I did get it, but
well, good. I'm glad.
I try to tease it every time.
I know you do. Our wanderers probably appreciate it. I hope they do. If you don't, email us at wanderingwayspodcast@gmail.com. WANDERINGWAYSPODCAST@gmail.com. That is wanderingwayspodcast@gmail.com. Shoot us an email. We'd love to hear if you like Mark's cool shit in nature.
Yeah. This week's cool shit in nature is a bubble freezing.
In slow motion, nonetheless.
Yeah. Which is very cool and satisfying to watch. And then the guy breaks it at the end, which is super sad. But
yeah, it looks like how like snowflakes, you know, in the sense that like people say snowflakes have like their own fingerprint. That's kind of like how it's freezing, how it looks like the way the lines and etchings in this bubble are freezing.
I know it is really cool to see.
Yeah, it's going to make me when it's like gets cold again out here. I might go get some bubbles and try it out for myself.
Yeah, you know what I imagine? I just look at this and I go, "That's nature's snow globe."
Essentially, yeah, I
Yeah.
like it.
No, this
I-
is a really kind of just satisfying, cool shit in nature. Um, I could honestly just have that on in the background and
Yeah,
just let it kind of go over and over again.
without the guy popping it though.
Yeah, I don't want the guy popping it either. He kind of ruins it for me when he does that.
Yeah, like from start to finish of this, like of it being its thing, like from there on.
Oh yeah, it's really nice. You're like, oh yeah, that's really actually kind of peaceful to watch. I'm
It
really
is.
glad I've decided to watch this. Well, it's about finished. Just a nice, perfect little globe of ice. And then this dickwad comes in and smashes it. He's also the
boy.
same guy that made it. So I guess he's not that
Right.
not that much of a,
Right.
a dill hole.
No,
But yeah, so that was cool shit in nature. And now back to the breakdown, where we'll talk more about the camping, I guess, side of it, or the classic stuff to do. When it comes down, there's 2 campgrounds in the park.
which is awesome.
Yeah, it is. And they take reservations. So make sure you get a reservation.
What I liked about this one is we actually were able to get the reservations, I believe, before our trip or on our trip.
We got it on.
Yeah, okay. I thought so.
Yeah, we no, it was actually shoot, when did we get them on the trip? Was it when we were in Colorado?
Yeah, we stayed at a hotel and we were able to get Wi-Fi and kind of download and
Yeah.
do that, and that's what we did.
So that was probably like we got reservations 4 days out.
Yeah, something like that. Like it wasn't bad at all, and it was after Memorial Day, so
Yeah, so I mean, getting a reservation in the park seems to be pretty reasonable.
yeah. And I want to say, were we in the Cedar Pass campground or
um,
the Sage Creek campground? I
wanna
think it was the
say-
Cedar Pass.
I want to say that's what it was too.
Right there, it was close to the visitor center, which was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's the one.
Yep, Cedar Pass.
Yeah, it's whatever that one is way off to the.
So we did not stay at. Where is the other one? Oh, Sage Creek, but there's no water out there. That was out that dirt road. I think you take a dirt road, the Sage Creek Rim Road to get out to that campground. But that one is the one that has hookups.
Yes.
Yeah, because this is the one we were in was like tent only, and it was really. I like camping in the national parks. I really do. And if you guys get a chance to do that, I say go for it, because I've been able to camp in Yellowstone a couple times, Glacier. What other parks on our trip did we actually get in the park camp? Close to Bryce Canyon. That one wasn't in the
Yeah,
Bryce
that one
Canyon
technically
National
wasn't
Park.
in. I've camped in the park at Zion.
Okay.
Technically we camped in the park at the Redwoods.
We did in the national park. Yes, we did.
Technically we did at the Redwoods. I've camped in the park at Olympic National Park.
Okay.
And
I think, well, what I like about those is they're cheaper.
Yes.
But they're just that, it's that Americana, that pastime, that I don't know what it may be, but I like those campgrounds. They're fun because the way they're built and designed, and I like camping in the parks
It's
if I
simple,
can.
Yeah. It's just a real simple kind of style of camping, which is like refreshing in a way.
Hawaii volcanoes.
Yeah, we did camp. We camped in there.
We didn't camp. We stayed in the cabin.
Yeah,
But like
which was technically
in Hawaii, that is camping, because like you could have slept outside and it would have been fine. It would have been the same. Well, those birds, man.
Oh yeah, well, yeah. The birds that night or that first morning, where they were like, "What?
It sounded like a
crazy-"
rubber chicken.
Yeah, it was like, yeah.
Or alarm clock. That was fun.
I forgot about that.
We like woke up, we're like, what the heck is that? No, that was a good time. I enjoyed that. But no, and you don't get those birds in the Badlands.
You do not get those birds. No, so camping in the park actually seems pretty plausible for most people. If you're looking to go that route. And again, that's the route I encourage, because you get to do the stargazing at night. You get to do the sunrise and sunsets easier than if you're staying outside of the park.
Mhm.
So by all means, try and go check out try and stay in the park, enjoy those stars, because I really can't say it enough. The stars are incredible when you're at this park. So
They are.
yeah.
I appreciated them. From someone that comes from a place where you can see the stars, that's another good place to see them. Like when I was able to see the comet, and speaking of Saturday night, we're going to be the closest to the forget the name of the comet, but there's a comet. It's on the east. When you look east, and you look at the Big Dipper, it's kind of like straight down dead east Big Dipper. There's going to be a comet December 12th out that way. We should be able to see it until the beginning of January, when it becomes close, when it gets closest to the sun, and then it just kind of disappears from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll have to keep an eye out for clear skies.
Exactly. No, I really want to I like comets. They're pretty cool. And that would be a good place to see one.
Space is pretty cool.
When you get some clear skies out there on the Badlands.
Yeah. It really is. It really is. Moving on to the back country. This is honestly where the park kind of separates itself and makes itself kind of cool in a way.
Well, but I think that's all the parks, right? They have those uniquenesses about them, like this, that are just like, well, it's an open hiking park, so you can
exactly
go anywhere.
Because this park is open hike, it's actually open camping as well.
Yeah.
So as long as you follow the rules of backcountry, you can go and camp pretty much anywhere you want to go.
The thing, though, that I find kind of interesting about this backcountry, because for like a glacier park, an Arches, a Zion, right? There's usually a destination, right? That the backcountry takes you to.
Yeah.
In this case, not really. It's the Badland.
Yeah, so, it's kind of just you off exploring a section. That's why they actually recommend hitting that south part of the park, because it's not as developed as much. So it's something where you can go in and you can explore this new area or this other area of the park that's not developed as much. So it's kind of more untouched.
It reminds me a lot, actually, that area in particular, the south, when me and Thea drove down there, of an area where we go hunting. Because where we go is kind of south of the Missouri River Breaks. And if you've ever heard of the Missouri River Breaks, they're like Montana, they're part of the Flathead, or not, Fort Peck Lake, and just the way the fingers kind of come down, and the land and the way it is, and it's Montana's Badland essentially. And it's kind of remote where we go hunting, because there's just like the 12 people that live in that county.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's that area.
Yeah. But yeah. I mean,
love it.
That's what makes this, park is unique, is because it is that open hike, open camp, kind of, which with it being an open hike makes it so there's not as many hiking trails in this park as there are in others. But again, you can create your own hiking trail. They do have some, right? The longest one being like 10 miles, which is the Castle Trail.
Yeah.
But you can get on these and you can go, oh, let's take a left to whatever. Well, you can see, well, your buddy said there's no trail. You go, doesn't matter. We can create our own. So that's the unique part when you're even just hiking, not just the backcountry. Is, if you see a tiny little mound, you want to get to the top of it. You can just I'm going to get to the top. That'd be honestly a pretty tough climb, but you can do it.
No, I really like that because to go back to the backcountry camping itself, I feel like too it would remind me of like the old days, like the wagon trail heading out west, and how they would park their wagons in circles and camp out kind of on the grassland or out by these like you go put yourself by a bluff or by a dirt mound for the protection of the wind or whatever that may be. And I feel like you can get that experience here in the backcountry. The hikes we did, they were like the Notch Trail, and there was like this lookout that we went on that as well. And what I really liked about those is there already kind of are some established trails where people have walked to those things where it's like, I bet you that's a really cool vista point or a viewpoint, so you can see that there is the little wooden ladder you can climb, which is kind of you see in the pictures of the Badlands quite a bit actually.
Yeah.
I like it, like we said, when we took the sunset pictures, we were able to just like hike up and get to a spot where we wanted to be and, take pictures up on top of these dirt things. Cause it was a nice little kind of, you could see where people have gone up it before to get that nice view.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it was cool. But, both hikes that we did, one to the sunset that we did, that was more of just, we wanted to get up high fairly quickly. But the other hike, that one was fun because we were kind of in those like kind of like more of the rocky, less grass. So you kind of felt like you were in like kind of like this weird valley type deal, and you were just kind of hiking along the different ones. It had the cool ladder. We ran into the rattlesnake on that one. So there was a lot of cool and the view later, when we got to see more of the Badlands from that point, was really, really cool. So it was hiking is still well worth it to go and check out.
You just have to be a little creative. You can't rely on a trail necessarily.
Yeah, no, that's very true. So
how would you, I got a question for you. How would you rate the park? How would you just off the top, like kind of, if you know how we do our reviews, how, kind of a mini review.
Oh, kind of a mini, how would I rate this park? The Badlands National Park.
Must see, must not see.
No, I would probably, out of 5 stars, I would give it 4.
Yeah.
I would give it 4 stars. It's one of those where if you go, you're really going to enjoy it. But it's not one where people are really thinking about going to. It's
or
not
even going
the name that comes first off the list.
Yeah.
But if you go to it, I really think if you stargaze or hit the sunsets, that's what's going to make it that 4 or 5 out of 5 stars for you. So, that's how I would do it in reality. 4 stars, because it's very cool. I kind of want to go and bike it now that I really think about it. So
we can. I'm happy because that means you're probably coming through Billings to go out that way. Because I-90 runs through Billings, but I would also probably give it a 4 in that sense, because it's not a park that I'm dying I have to get back to.
Yeah.
And like for me, that's a 5, right? Like Yellowstone, Glacier, I'm dying to get back to those places. Like I'll pass up other places to go back to those sometimes. Whereas Badlands, it's like, oh, it's not too far from where I am, but you still got to like plan some time and effort to get out there. And we can do that. It's no biggie, but I'm also like, I want to go to Iceland. I want to go to Fiji. I want to go to the Maldives. I want to go to Paraguay. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I 100% get what you mean there.
Southeast Asia and Thailand.
No, 100%. It's still a good park. I think people should go and check it out. If you're in that area, it's almost a must see if you're in that area. But you go check out the Badlands, check out the Black Hills as well. If you want a breakdown of the Black Hills and how you can add this park to a Black Hills trip, make sure to check out our Black Hills breakdown. Make sure to check out our other breakdowns as well, all that fun stuff. But we are going to get to the final words because it is that time and I am that guy. We're going to do the final words. So final words, my man.
Guys, I know you wanderers out there have your lists of, your top fives, the next few parks you want to go to, right? And what I really have to say and really want to get to is, now that we talked about the Badlands, I guarantee for most of you, the Badlands isn't on one of your top 5 must go to national parks, which is fine. I get it. The Yosemites, the Yellowstones, the Zions, the Grand Canyons, they have that nostalgia about them. But what I want you to do, and this is my challenge for the week, is I want you guys to figure out what 5 parks that are underrated, that not a lot of people talk about, that are hard to get to, maybe, that are kind of those one parks maybe you want to go that aren't in these loops or these clusters or out west or whatever that may be that you go to. For me, Teddy Roosevelt's on that list. Down in Florida, the Everglades, it's kind of one of those for me, is on that list. I really want to go down to that place in New Mexico, Carlsbad Caverns. I want to get out to the headwaters up there north or Portage Falls up in the Upper Peninsula up there in Michigan.
Oh, I don't know.
Quite a few of those parks, those hard parks to get to where you're going to have to spend that time, but really find that list, and let us know. Email us at wanderingwaspodcast@gmail.com. All right, Reverend, that's all.
I love it. Reverend's final words of wisdom. Stay beautiful, everybody. Can't tell you how much I appreciate every single one of you for listening, liking, subscribing, sending us questions, sending us top 5s, all of that fun stuff. You guys are awesome. You guys are great. I appreciate it. As for the last kind of true thing, it's winter. People are cold, animals are cold. I don't know. Go out, give someone a hug. I know it's COVID and hugging's frowned upon, but try and go give a hug, give some love. Hug or a love out there to some sort of living being or living creature. And yes, plants are thrown into this. So if you want to give some love to a tree, give some love to a tree. But anyways, just go out there and give some love where love is needed, especially since it's holiday season. We should be giving love anyway. Should be giving love all year round, but people seem to do it extra around the holidays. So this is another reason to do it. But with that being said, peace out, everybody.
Bye.